Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer here at beautiful Del Mar, where on Friday and Saturday the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships will be contested. We're going to kick off the Breeders' Cup portion of the Friday card with this race, race number 6. Here's the field for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, a Grade 1, $1 million. We already have a scratch. The number 1 Out on Bail is out. The number 13 Pally Kitten is in. We have a field full of international contenders from Japan, from Europe, and from the United States. We've got a quick one named Governor Sam.
It'll be interesting to see how the pace plays out too, Dan. I mean, with all the shippers involved in this race, we don't really have a pace projector to show, but you're right. Governor Sam's very fast. I feel like a couple of the Europeans, and maybe in particular that one Japanese entrant, they might have some speed in this race.
He's really the key to this race, in my opinion, from a pace standpoint. You know Governor Sam is going. Sometimes these Europeans can be a little tardy from the start. Maybe not so with the Japanese, although it must be noted that Akoro Sig was a little bit slow last time out. He recovered quickly enough in that 6 furlong heat to make the lead. I'm expecting that horse to show speed.
Yeah, he's going to have to get out of the gate better this time, but he just, in both of his races, and they are 6 furlong races, he also has to drop back a furlong in distance here, which is easier said than done sometimes. But he just had really easy speed in those races. He looks fast.
Let's kick off the analysis with the number 2, Asterius, who has won his last 2 starts, including a very game win in the Group 2 Flying Childers last time out, going 5. He was one of those Europeans that you mentioned. He showed good speed from the start. Big Mojo, who's also in this field, looked like he corralled him. But this horse was very, very game to come back in the shadow of the wire, get his neck down in front. And one of the also-rans came back to place in a Group 3 in England.
I found this horse to be really, really hard to knock down. As you mentioned, he does have handy speed. He's been forward in most of his races over in Europe. He's already a 3-time stakes winner. He was defeated by, defeated Big Mojo last time. He lost to that horse 3 starts back, but he ran really well that day. This horse is a major contender in here.
And right next door is Big Mojo, who goes out for the same connections that sent out Big Evs to win this race last year. And they're using the same pattern to get Big Mojo to the race than they did with Big Evs. They ran Big Evs in the Flying Childers in his final start before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Big Mojo ran fine. He was never really covered up near the back. He made a strong run in between horses on that straight, and it looked like he had the race won. Maybe he kind of drifted a little bit to the left at the end. I thought all in all, though, it was a good performance, and these connections obviously know how to win here.
Like all of his races, Dan, he ran fine last time. I don't think you would watch the replay back and give him some kind of big excuse in there, but he was narrowly beaten by a really good horse, and he was beaten by a horse who we already know he can handle. He defeated that horse way back at the end of July. This horse, I think all of his races are good. This is a good distance for this horse. He's got tactical speed as well. There's a lot to like here.
The beaten favorite in the Flying Childers is up next. That's the 4 Magnum Force. He was 5-2 that day. No match for Asterius and Big Mojo. I thought he ran okay, and I still think he's yet to scratch the surface of his potential.
It seems that way. You mentioned when you were talking about Big Mojo, too, where he sort of couldn't get covered up in that Flying Childers last time. That was sort of the case with Magnum Force, too. They wanted to get him covered up early. It didn't really work out. He wound up in the middle of the pack. Listen, he had a fair chance to win there. He just wasn't quite good enough. But this horse, it feels like there's more to come for him, Dan. His race 2 back was excellent. I thought he was best that day, even though he did win with a tough trip. Eye-catching maiden win going this distance, 3 starts back. This horse has talent, and you know what? He's not going to be the favorite this time.
Arizona Blaze is up next, a very hardy and battle-tested 2-year-old. He's already raced 8 times, and he's hit the board in 7 of those starts. He was a group winner all the way back in May. Last time out, he ran in a listed stakes race, and he finished 4th that day. He was beaten by a 66-1 shot. The 3rd-place finisher did come back and run 2nd in a Group 3 on the all-weather.
Yeah, only off the board once in his career. That was the most recent start on a different surface. He was beaten a half a length. I don't really care about that race. His turf form is fine. I wonder if he's not maybe just a cut below some of these horses. They've gotten a lot of racing out of him. He stood up to it very well. I think he's an interesting long shot in this race. I don't think I want him on top.
Jet Sweep Joe is up next. He's coming out of the Indian Summer Race won by Governor Sam. He broke from post 10 that day at Keeneland. Tried to run with that horse early, just couldn't do it. He's finished behind Governor Sam now twice. He made that horse run a little bit in the Tyro 3 starts back. He's going to show good tactical and early speed in this race. The question is Governor Sam at his number?
Yeah, it just seems like he's got a lot to prove here. I agree with that. I feel like they just almost have to get aggressive here and see what happens. That pace was too fast for him last time. He paid the price. Dan, did not like his Skidmore 2 starts back. That was not a fast pace he had every chance to win there. He wasn't good enough.
Whistle Jacket, the number 7, goes out for the all-star team of Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, and this one's already a Group 1 winner. He won the Prix knee at Deauville 2 starts back, and he was pretty game in that race. He set the pace, he just sort of grinded it out and stayed steady, going 3/4 of a mile on that straightaway track. Most recently in the Middle Park, he didn't make the lead, but he was pushing the pace on the outside, and he couldn't go with a horse that came back to win a Group 1. He was odds on that day, Whistle Jacket. They like him.
Yeah, it seemed like at the time he was disappointing in that most recent start, but then you see what Shadow of Light's going on to do, and maybe it's not so disappointing anymore. He was only second best to a real good horse. This horse has been really impressive at times. I wonder how much backing up to 5 furlongs after several 6-furlong races really affects him this time.
He is a full brother to a 2-year-old Grade 1 stakes winner named Little Big Bear, so Whistle Jacket's got a lot to like about him. Mikoro Sig is the Japanese Flash, 2 for 2 in his career. His debut was awesome. It looked like a public workout. He went right to the front and he dominated that group. And last time out in the Canna Stakes, it was a shorter field. He was odds on yet again. Didn't break great from the rail, rushed up to set the pace, and then set the track record.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been, again, very visually impressive in both of his starts. Don't ask me what he was beating over there, Dan, because I have no idea, but he was 2 to 5 in both of those races. They've obviously liked him from the start. He's another one who's got to back up to 5 furlongs here. And again, that's not always easy to do, but with his kind of speed, I think he's going to handle it. We'll see what kind of prices. I don't know that I'd be dying to take a short price on him against this field, but he looks pretty good to me.
Americanized pedigree as well by Twirling Candy. The dam was Grade 3 placed routing on the turf, I believe, out here in Southern California. Shareholder is next, the number 9. This horse pulled off a minor upset, 12-1 in the Group 2 Norfolk Stakes. Second time out, beat Arizona Blaze that day. His last race in the Prix though, when he was wired by Whistle Jacket, he wasn't good that day. Maybe the softer ground he hated.
I wonder what the excuse would be for that performance, because it wasn't good. I mean, he just basically followed Whistle Jacket into, maybe the final furlong or so, and then he just came up completely empty in there. It was not a good performance. The flip side of that, Dan, is his first 2 starts were really good. This horse was a $62,000 yearling. These connections paid up for this horse at the Breeze Up sale, and it seems like it was worth it. A Group 2 winner almost right off the bat. He beat Whistle Jacket that day.
Governor Sam is coming into this race red hot for George Weaver, who historically has fast 2-year-old sprinters. He's won 4 in a row, including this race, the Indian Summer at Keeneland, where he ran hard from start to finish. Sub-21 opening quarter while taking pressure and just keeps on rolling. Very game under the wire.
Just want to give him extra credit for winning this race, because he was under pressure every step of the way. He had to run hard the entire 5.5, and he managed to hold on at the end. I just thought that was a really good performance, and maybe a performance that's not reflected in the figure that he earned there. We'll see how this all plays out. Would you be shocked if he was just the fastest horse early in here and was on the lead?
The 11 is Gate to Wire. I won't be surprised at all if Governor Sam's on the lead. I'm intrigued to see if he has to duel with the Koro Sig. Gate to Wire, on the other hand, I think has some tactical speed. He just, last time out, got caught in a slow-paced race where Mentee, Fierceness's full brother, who we'll see later on the Friday card, got the jump on him. I thought Gate to Wire, all things considered, second lifetime start, slowish pace, ran on pretty well for second. Todd's going to put blinkers on here, and he might get a better race flow.
Yeah, it feels like he should anyway. I don't know how far away he can actually afford to get early in this race. We'll see if the blinkers make any kind of a difference for this horse. I did really like his debut at Saratoga. That was a very likable performance. He had enough excuses last time if you want to throw him in there somewhere at a big price. It feels like there's a lot of upside with this horse.
Ides of March, post 12. This is Aidan O'Brien and Frankie Dettori, and this one's coming off of a sharp win in the Round Tower Stakes in Ireland. He went right to the front, stayed in the middle of the course, and kept on going at odds on to win by open lengths. The third place finisher came back to run third again in a Group 3 in Ireland. This is a very well-bred colt. His dam was a 2-year-old Grade 1 stakes winner here in the States on dirt going a mile.
He's another one that's got to back up to 5 here. He's only been 6 and 7 throughout his career. His last 2 races are very, very impressive. I mean, they just went right to the top both times. He was handy on the front end, and he just blew those fields away. It feels like he's going good right now. He did not get a very good post position here if they want to be forward in this race. We'll see if he can do it a different way. It seems like he's got a lot of talent.
And without on bail out of this race, the 13 Pally Kitten draws in. He scored the Speakeasy last time out. Steadied a little bit after the start. Worked out sort of an inside-out trip. I think it all worked out for this horse. He did get it done. It was a much improved performance. This is a tough post.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, it's not, drawing into this field does him no favors to have to break from the far outside, but he really improved in his most recent start. We'll see if he can improve again.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the first Breeders' Cup race on Friday, the first Breeders' Cup race of this year's 2024 World Thoroughbred Championships. It kicks off a pick 5. Where are you going?
And listen, I went all Europeans in here. We'll see if it plays out that way. The horse that I wanted most, Dan, and a lot of that is because I think he's going to be a good price this time, is the number 4 Magnum Force. I like all of his races. I get it. He didn't have a real excuse last time behind 2 of these same rivals, but he ran well in that race. I think there's more to come with him. And I just like his running style, too. He tracks paces and finishes.
So we both like that Flying Childers Stakes as a preps. I'm hoping that Mick Appleby can do it again. He did it with Big Evs last year. He's got Big Mojo in here. He cannot afford to be tardy from the gate. He's got to at least stay within range. And I think Asterius has really done nothing wrong in his last few races. Curious also to see what we get from the beautifully bred Whistle Jacket. I'm going with Big Mojo. Mike's going with the 4 Magnum Force in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Good luck. Hey, let me give you a hot tip. If you liked the content that you've seen before, click on the like and subscribe button right here. And of course, for more DRF videos like Race of the Days, stakes previews, click on the videos right here.